Welcome back to the Weekly Roast. How's it going, guys? How the hell are you? How are your hearts? And of course, how are your heads? Guys, what's going on? How are you doing? Listen, this is a gift to you. This is a extra episode, totally unorthodox, never been done before, a sort of bonus episode of the Weekly Roast to say thank you. It's been a hell of a week. 3 episodes on the bounce. Let's go. What a week for the roast. What a week for the show. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuned into William Smutler Yeats, the saga. And much like Wu-Tang, the saga continues. Wu-Tang is forever, as is the Weekly Roast. I'm here beside Mystery Mick.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Shook after today.
Yes, I can imagine. So, here we are, guys. Today, we're going to do the roast on rejections. This is what the roast that should have been. The roast that never was. The roast that now is. I'm not going to beat around the bush any further. Let's get stuck in. It's Friday morning. It's a bonus episode of the roast. I hope you are doing good. Wherever you are and whoever you're there with, I hope you're excited for the weekend. And if you're not, fret not. This too shall pass. I wish you all the best and thank you so much for listening to the show. If you enjoy it, check me out on Instagram at Megan Mark. If you have any suggestions for the roast next week, send me an Instagram message at Megan Mark. And last but not least, if you enjoy the show and you want to share your appreciation, just send an episode of the show to somebody you know. Click follow, subscribe, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And lo, you will get a new episode delivered to you every single week. Thank you so much for listening. It's the Roast of Rejections. Let's get into it.
Hi Mark, I used to go out with this guy for a few months when I was 15, and during school day we used to all meet down at the corner shop with our boyfriends, and one day I turned up and his mum was there, and she said, "Hi, I'm here to break it off with you because David doesn't want to see you anymore." I thought, great, okay, mortified. So then he's now actually married to a girl who was a friend of mine at the time, but is not so good now. But we nothing to do with this story. But she's actually his second cousin. So hopefully the mum didn't think that was a bad decision on his behalf, but I was.
Zing. Love it. So the mum breaks up with her.
Yeah. She was the one who got rejected, but like, have you ever heard the term winning the breakup? Like, if your mom has to do it, you've lost.
Yeah, immediately.
100%. That's pathetic.
Any parent that gets involved in a child's breakup, good luck.
Done.
Just, you have to do nothing.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely done.
What's the worst way you've ever been broken up with or broken up with somebody?
Oh, God. When I was 16, I did have a girlfriend for the summer who...
Just for the summer?
Just for the summer.
Like bleach blonde hair.
Tell me more.
Bleach blonde hair, Abercrombie cargo pants and a girlfriend. Good stuff.
Just spinning my rugby ball around. No. I didn't want to be with her and I didn't have the cojones to kind of call it off. So I did just ghost her for the period of about a month and got a phone call from her to, say it wasn't working out.
Damn right.
Yeah.
It hadn't worked out.
Yeah.
The ghosting is just unforgivable. You cannot do it.
It was the one time I did it and I genuinely actually still feel bad about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you do. Okay,
What about yourself? Go on, I'm sure you have a few skeletons.
Honiva.
Hi Mark. So it was a very weird date. So we were chatting and everything for a while and he seen my pictures online or whatever and obviously knew what I looked like, but spent like hours chatting and kissing and everything and then turned around and was like, "I'm going to have to tell you something." And I was like, "Oh, what?" And he was like, "You remind me of my sister."
Sorry?
And I was like, it was probably the worst thing anybody could ever say to me. I was like, "You clearly knew what I looked like before I turned up." But anyway, I just picked up my bag and I walked out. That was it. It was probably the worst thing ever. He clearly must want to kiss his sister or something. I don't know. Weird.
You know that happened to me once.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
Really?
Yeah, I was shagging my cousin after it. Brilliant. You look like your brother. Brilliant. It's in the family. That's the level of gags. 3 roasts on the row and the comedy has just evolved into incest. Good stuff. This is very perverted. So he actually engages in the kissing for the evening and then he goes...
This sounds. No, I don't need the sounds. No, stop.
Sorry. There's a... Oh, you got a hair in your eye. Sorry. There's something I got to tell you.
What?
You remind me of my sister.
Ugh.
Pervert. Weird. Why deliver the news like that? Why'd you phrase it like that? Don't phrase it like... That's something that you bring up. You never bring up. And if you look very like the sister, don't go on the date. Don't be doing the kissing.
No. That's a revelation you need to figure out in advance or make in advance.
That's whenever you see the person on a dating app that resembles a sister, you go, nope. Worst thing ever is I remember seeing my cousin on a dating app when I was in London. This is genuine true story. On Bumble in around 2017, one of the worst years ever. I was on Bumble in London and I see my cousin and I was like, this is hilarious. And I swiped right as a joke.
No.
But then I was like, oh God, if she has Bumble Premium, she'll know that I've swiped right because and she was very single at the time, so she probably did. She had the gold version. Yeah. She was given the code and everything.
Spending money on dating apps, yeah.
Spending money on dating apps is like having a subscription to porn. There's something bigger and we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Money on dating apps, porn subscriptions. The guys that subscribe to one person's like OnlyFans. I don't know.
At what point are they kind of mimicking a relationship? Like it gets a bit, yeah.
It's not for me.
No,
not for me. Anyway, my cousin never swiped right.
Okay.
So I've never spoken to her about this. So Jenny, if you're listening, that was a joke, okay? And I'll see you at Christmas. Let's go.
Hi Mark. So I matched with this guy on Hinge. Seemed like a nice guy. Everything was going well. Chat was good. We swapped numbers and took it to WhatsApp. Chatted for a few days, seemed really nice. Asked me out for lunch and I was very keen. Agreed to go for lunch on a certain day. I was getting ready and about an hour before we were meant to meet, he messaged saying that he was really sorry but that he got a massive cold sore and he couldn't be seen in public with it. I thought that was a bit strange. Thought, well, that's a strange excuse, but anyway. Next thing he sent me a photo of it, a close-up photo of this huge, pussy-looking cold sore on his face, and I was nearly sick. There was vomit in my mouth, and I just messaged saying, no problem, don't worry about it. The thing is, he actually tried to rearrange the date, and obviously I said no. Why did he think that I would just find that normal, that he could send me that and I would still find him attractive and want to go on a date with him? The mind boggles. Anyway, love the pod.
You can't be writing people off for life just because they've gotten a cold sore. Do you know what I mean? You can't be gone. That's gone. Him.
You dirtbag.
You won't
believe illness.
Oh, you won't believe who got in touch with me the other day. That absolute fucking freak with the cold sores. Do you know? Give a guy another... First and foremost, okay? You don't go telling people, look, cold sores are just like very serious STIs. You don't tell people that you have no.
No, Mark.
You do? No, you don't tell. That's private business. It's private business.
That's the game.
That's disgraceful, Mike.
Yeah, fuck off.
89% of our listeners are female and you have the audacity to set us back.
Yeah. On your soapbox, come on.
Nevertheless, okay, I'm with him in terms of saying that he has a cold sore. Mate, I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's totally fair to be like, listen, I've come down with something over the last 24 hours. I'm probably not going to be on best form for the date. Do you mind if we reschedule? It's absolutely no reflection of my desire to get in and at it. You know, this is just the date that is. This is, but you know, I'm not going to be available. Could we reschedule? I don't think sending in a zoomed up picture of the coleslaw is just completely loose.
Yeah, I have definitely, in the past, if I'm, bailing on someone or feeling I'm doing...
You send them a picture of your punctured arse after sitting on the Eiffel Tower.
Brilliant. Thanks, yeah.
Here you go, this gaping human Grand Canyon that I have. This sore, you can see the back of my lungs.
What are those 2 holes? No.
This is just... So wait, do you think he's in the right or the wrong?
No, absolutely in the wrong. But I as someone who is a bit of a people pleaser, I would feel that I nearly need to overcompensate with my excuses.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
This isn't a therapy podcast.
Oh, thanks.
I'm joking.
Hey, Michael, will you open your mouth and I just get done?
I encourage you to open your mouth more on the podcast. You show a minute bit of vulnerability and that's exploited forever. Okay. Okay, but I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
Does the guy deserve another chance?
Oh, without question.
Even with the picture of the coleslaw?
Thanks. Brilliant. He's overshared, but I think his intentions were good. There's a lot of bad people out there.
Say that at my funeral. Mark Megan. He's overshare, but his intentions were ultimately good.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Yeah.
At the epitaph. Let's go. Welcome back to the Weekly Roast, guys. As you might be able to tell, I've had 4 or 5 coffees, so I'm sort of operating on Megan 2020 at a stag levels of sort of adrenaline coursing through my veins, but a delirious fatigue operating beneath surface level, which ultimately is a sign that I just need to sit down and breathe and have a hug. But Lord knows I didn't know it then, and I certainly do not know it now. So on we go. We will plough on and continue with the third roast of the day. Okay, it's the roast of rejection. Thank you so much for tuning in to this little bonus episode. All of the bonus episodes going forward are going to be different, by the way, so we haven't figured that out. But just bear with us. We're making it up as we go along today. On y va, let's go.
I matched with this fella on Tinder and he was studying to do physiotherapy. Conversation was really good and it was Valentine's Day. He was texting me and I was like, oh, lovely. And I was like really playing up. Now at the time I was getting steroid injections for my hip. But I was really playing up like what my hip was sore. And he said, oh, I'll sort that out for you. And me thinking that was an innuendo. I got really excited, went up, gave myself a bit of a trim, a bit of a wash, jumped into the car, brought me over to his gaff. I was like, oh, lovely, tonight's the night. And he said, now, just lie down on the floor there. Now, this is in the kitchen. And I was like, oh God, on the floor? I was like, jeez, this could be a bit wild. So I lie down on the floor. I'm lying there. He takes out his encyclopedia book of fucking physiotherapy, does a few movements on me, and then tells me to get back in the car and he drove me home.
It's always good when people leave the TV on when they send in voice notes. That's respectful. I do enjoy that part.
Yeah, that's great.
We just need to get into, and I quote, gave myself a bit of a wash and a trim. The way she says that, I'm picturing like a garden hose just held up between her legs.
Yeah. Like a builder scrubbing off after a long day.
Like a fucking ventriloquist.
Oh, God.
Or trying to get the angel on top of a Christmas tree. Just sort of... Do you know what I mean? Gave myself a bit of a trim. Like, oh, good Lord. Fair enough. I mean, the expectations were high and the delivery reality was low. I don't know what to say to this. I'm just glad to hear that the physio wasn't a pervert, because in a sea of physios being perverts, it's nice to have a lighthouse of one that's not a pervert.
So much so that she was looking for a pervert and he wasn't one.
Yeah, could you not have been more direct?
Yeah.
I mean, now, to be fair to him, again, this comes back to the sort of awareness of the male psyche. Like, if you've met somebody on a dating app and they're asking to call over for a bit of a rub,
yeah,
it doesn't take, fucking Russell Crowe and A Beautiful Mind to do the maths there and go, she wants something. I wouldn't make any assumptions, but I would be like, okay, there's a chance here.
Yeah, totally. I think common sense will prevail in situations like that. But he's like our pal the other week who was asked what a swap was and wanted to do a squat. Like, I think some people are just so invested in their knowledge and what they know.
Yeah.
He just wanted to give her a rub.
Yeah.
That's what he was in it for.
Yeah. So, sorry about that, love, and I hope the hip got sorted. Let's go.
Okay, this was a good few years ago now, since happily married, thankfully, not to this man. But I was working with a lad and decided after a few beverages that I would message him on LinkedIn, because obviously we were work colleagues. Well, he was a supplier, but work colleagues, work situation. Not only was that embarrassing enough, but I titled the message Awkward as F, and I invited him to come along with me to the Natural History Museum, of which I was a member.
Oh, God.
He left me unread for a couple of days and then informed me he had a girlfriend, so that was good, yeah. Had to continue working with him. Yeah, solid. You think I'd have learned my lesson from that, but oh no. In fact, I did a similar action again after a couple of beverages. However, it was on Instagram this time, so grew up a little bit, decided to not go down the professional route. But in fact, the person I messaged was your fine self, Mark. Yeah, message telling you, oh, listen to the podcast, think you're great, think we should go for a few pints sometime. Actually, I hate to say it wasn't actually for any sexual advancement. I think I just wanted to be your friend.
Don't need to say that.
But yeah, we never did meet up for any pints, so yeah, literally rejected by you. Anyway, love the pod. Enjoy.
Good stuff. Wow, I was not expecting that.
Wild.
So, you see that? Okay, let's be very clear. That was the original podcast.
Okay.
She was not. She wasn't asking me to go for. I don't know which is more dangerous, the cheating or the pints.
Yeah.
Both would be completely catastrophic to my future and the well-being of myself, my wife, and my unborn child. But I don't know how to feel this one. Yeah, I when the person sent the message in, like, yeah, I clicked up and they had, in 2018, they'd sent me a message.
Wow.
Or no, 2020 or 2019, whenever I'd started the original podcast, 2019, and I was living in London and I was both doing the podcast and, of course, having pints. And yeah, there was a message from her, because I think people used to listen to the podcast and they'd be like, oh, I'm like, you know, I like complaining about things. We should go for pints. And it's like, you know, he just likes going for pints. That's the problem. The sort of the complaining and all is a bit of an act. The pint element isn't.
Yeah.
We know how that all went. So, yeah, there you go. Glad you're married now. As am I.
Brilliant.
What could have been. We're meeting on the airwaves and that's where it will stay. Chat to you soon. Take care. Good luck.
Well, Mark, how are you? So yeah, we went on a lads' holiday to Magaluf during COVID, and as it was COVID, all the clubs and pubs would close early. Like early Magaluf would have been about 2 or 3 in the morning. So yeah, it was about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. We were walking around trying to find something or someone to keep the party going. We came across these 3 girls on the beach. Long story short, ended up going back to their hotel room. They were all sharing the same room.
Good stuff.
So we went out to the balcony for a few drinks, chats, whatever. One of the lads went back into the room with one of the girls, followed by another lad and another girl. So it was just me and the last girl then sitting out on the balcony. I was like so sure I was going to get it. So I leaned in for the kiss. No. She put up her hand in the stop position. Okay. And said, no, thank you. And we proceeded to just sit on that balcony for an hour in total silence on our phones. I say silence. We could hear what was going on behind us for half an hour or so. Oh. But yeah, it was just the most awkward experience ever. Now, I did get a kiss on the cheek. Okay, so
good stuff.
I wasn't left out of all the action, but when we left the hotel anyway, I told the lads I got a BJ. Yeah. So they thought we all got some, but I just got pied, really.
Yeah.
Pie, BJ?
I appreciate the honesty. It's humbling, that experience. I'm really impressed with your honesty. Funnily enough, I had a meeting yesterday. This is completely, in terms of humbling moments, right?
Go on.
I was at a meeting yesterday. So I'm involved in a startup that's completely separate to, of course, this industry. And myself and my partner were at a meeting. And we're meeting this woman who is guaranteed to be, I would say, the next sort of like Rosie Connolly or is sculpted by Amy. I think her name's Amy Connolly as well, isn't it? But like, you know, she's a founder and she's just like
star power,
ridiculous. Whatever that thing is that they need to have, she definitely has it.
Yeah.
Not that I'd know, but you know what I mean. And anyway, we were chatting and she was giving us some advice, and then conversation going great, and I was like, "Fuck, this is really like just incredibly valuable information that's going to be super helpful with our thing or whatever," because we're leaning towards this big sort of thing next year. And she just stops the conversation at one point. She goes, do you know what I was thinking, though, that could really help? I was like, what? And she was like, would you think of getting somebody well-known involved? I was like, I could see my partner just go. I could have flipped the table.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
Would you think of getting somebody well-known involved?
Yes!
I was like, it's over.
If anyone needed to hear that, it is Mark fucking me again.
That was like a humble fucking bakery. That was the whole spring summer cuisine de France line in one tray.
That is beautiful.
I was like, yeah, we must drop Greg O'Shea a line. Do you know what I mean? Thanks for that. It's fucking over. Call the meeting. I'm done here. My fucking partner's messed me about 10 times, just the laughing emojis. Would you think of... Yeah, that'd be a great idea, actually. Cheers. Yeah, fuck. Do you have any emails?
That is incredible.
Fucking... I'm rouge even thinking about it. And I was like... Then I found myself floundering going, oh, well, like the podcast has like this amount of listeners and you know what? And she's... Oh, yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
That has made my day.
Let's go. Oh, guys, I hope you're enjoying the weekly roast. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the sort of bonus / extra / unscripted additional episode of the podcast that has been recorded after 4 or 5 coffees, and I actually had therapy in between all this as well. So it's been an interesting day. It's been an interesting day for the head. Nevertheless, here we are at the final furlong. If you're enjoying the show, you know what to do. Share it with a friend. Send it to a friend of yours. It's a great way of helping us grow. And of course, subscribe and follow the podcast. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you get your podcast, just click like follow or subscribe and you get the episode sent to you every week. And of course, follow me on Instagram at Megan Mark. Okay, it's the final furlong. It's Friday morning. Let's go.
When I was in 6th class, I got my first ever phone. It was one of those old Nokias, and I had a boyfriend at the time, my first ever boyfriend. We only ever kissed once. And one night I received a text message and it said, "Welcome to Dumpsville, population EU." Followed by one of those emojis that you bought off the back of the newspaper. It was like a pixelated bin. I was absolutely heartbroken.
Oh my God. Buying emojis. Buying emojis is more of a red flag than a literal red flag. You could purchase one of Joseph Stalin's Soviet satin fucking red bed sheets on the internet and it still wouldn't be as large of a red flag as buying emojis from the back of the newspaper. I don't recall that.
Do you not?
No.
Do you not remember like the ads? You're like 57777 and you'd spend like 20 quid on one text.
No.
Really?
I remember ringtones. I don't remember buying emojis.
Yeah, no, you could get like these 8-bit pictures of Jordan and like
as in Casey Price with the like what, topless or something.
No, it would just be like genuinely like a pixelated silhouette of a girl you would assume is Jordan. They were like, yeah, exclusive photos.
Oh
wild.
My God.
They'd be at the back of like car mags.
Oh, Men and Motors.
Yeah.
That sort of... I would not line the jacks with Men and Motors if we were fucking repainting the wallpaper. Good luck. Yeah. Men and Motors, Zoo magazine. Oh,
nuts them all there.
Oh, fuck. This is... Okay. Yeah, lunacy. God. Oh my God. My popcorn kernel. This is a disaster. Fuck. Oh, here, I'm so fucking tired. Okay, keep going. Let's go.
So I'm a guard and we were doing the whole kind of clearing out the pubs one Christmas, end of the night job. I was trying to do the good cop thing and the odd bit of PR, so chatting away to the punters as they were leaving the pub, and one fella came up particularly hammered and I says, "How are you? Good night now, sir. Hope you enjoyed your night." I said, "Would you kiss me under the mistletoe?" And he turns around quick as a whip and says, Look, love, to be honest with you, I wouldn't kiss you under a bleeding anaesthetic. So yeah, Julie put me back in my box.
Sorry.
Mark's still dying.
Please hand over your fucking badge and gun, by the way. It's over, Joyce. Like, you know, trying to solicit fucking sex off your punters as you're throwing them out of...
That's one for the ombudsman.
That's straight for the ombudsman, like.
Yeah, that's outrageous. I didn't even think about that.
Grabbing drunkards by their ears. You'll do. Sorry, I'm dying. Do you fancy a snog? What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, there's that like fine line between being a complete and utter asshole and just being hilarious, and your man's response is unbelievable.
I wouldn't kiss you under anaesthetic. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Fair play to him. Happy Christmas. Oh God,
I think we need to stop the show.
Okay, let's go.
Hi Mark. So I thought I'd submit this one for the rejection stories. I haven't thought much about it actually over the years, so it definitely didn't leave its mark, but occasionally I remember it and it amuses me. So many years ago, when I was single, I matched with a fella on Tinder, and we were texting back and forth, just chit-chatting. He was from my locality. I didn't know him personally, but we had a few friends in common. So he wanted to meet up, and it was a Saturday afternoon, a lovely sunny afternoon. I was cleaning the house, had the windows open. My flatmate was upstairs, and he was asking, could he come over for a cup of tea? And I was like, I don't really kind of want to meet up today, but he was pretty insistent. He said, come on, please, let's just a cup of tea, and we'll get to know each other. So eventually I agreed, and we arranged for him to come over, and as I said, it was a nice sunny day in my house. My housemate was upstairs, and he arrived, I had the kettle on, and sure, we were chit-chatting for a few minutes, and I asked him, do you want a cup of tea? He said, yeah, sure. So I made him a cup of tea, and we sat down in the sitting room, and he was just kind of a bit antsy and a bit kind of looking around as if like, you know, oh, is your housemate here? And I said, yeah, she's upstairs. All right, okay. And then he's still just kind of looking around as if he's expecting something, or... And I said, so I'm just asking him questions like you would on a date. Asking, you know, what he's interested in, his hobbies, what he does. And then he kind of out of the blue kind of says, I thought, well, do you want to maybe go up to your room or something? And I kind of said, no, I'm happy here, thanks. And he was like, well, I thought we were maybe going to go upstairs and, you know, hint, hint, wink, wink. I promptly said, absolutely not, that's not happening. And, he kind of got a bit of a panicked look about him, and he said, oh, right, okay, I thought that's what this was, so, I'll probably go then. And so up he got, and he left. And I kid you not when I say the steam was still coming off the cup of tea that he hadn't touched. So yeah, and I picked up my phone a few minutes later, and he had unmatched me on Tinder and blocked me. And to this day, I still have no idea what I missed. Was getting a cup of tea code for something, and I just was clueless.
Oh, God. Okay, sorry, let me be very... Good stuff. Having a stroke. Let me be very clear.
Yes.
Never, ever, ever invite somebody to your house for a first date.
Totally.
Ever. If you do not know the person, unequivocally do not give somebody your address and invite them into your home for a first date. That is just genuinely very dangerous, reckless. I'm not trying to allocate blame, by the way, in any way, but as in, like, it's just, do be careful out there because people are fucking loons. And the biggest mistake, I was saying this to somebody recently, they're asking about regrets, and like particularly over the years of drinking and just different things about like regrets. And of course there's like interpersonal stuff that's different, but in terms of on a more macro level with my life, the only two times I've got major, like really, really major regrets in my life are when I willingly invited crazy into my life, and I was arrogant enough to think that I would be able to manage it.
I get you.
And both of those times were my instinct from the moment at the beginning. And I'm not talking about a relationship, by the way. I'm not labeling any fucking... It's not about... Because they weren't relationships. But I'm talking about two instances where I invited complete and utter crazy into my life. And it was entirely, you know, preventable. But I just didn't. And how that relates to the previous voice note, God only fucking knows. The caffeine is oozing out of...
give over, would you? It's been a long day.
He sits in the hot seat and all of a sudden the ass expands, the Eiffel Tower. Anyway, okay, so this guy, let me handle this one carefully. Him being a sort of really pushy about coming over to the house, again, is a massive red flag. That's when the shutter should come down, both literally but also figuratively, and should be like, listen, on your bike, mate, I won't be pressurised into going for a date, let alone in my home of all places. And then when he comes over and he's like itchy on his feet and the cup of tea, I would be moving things along. Let's get out for a walk. Really? Yeah, no, let's get out for a walk. We're going out for a walk and then
close the door behind him.
we're gone.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the expectation of sex is insane. What are you doing? He should be clear with, if he's using the dating app just to try and sleep with people, he should be saying that.
Well, I think there's this like pick-up culture with lads where they think if I can get it back to someone's house, you know, it's game on. And like that's absolutely not the case. And it's that weird mindset, you know, where people think they can kind of coax their way and be charming and stuff. And it's so creepy.
Yeah, all of that behaviour is
so strange.
Not good.
No.
Really, really not good.
No.
And what sort of accent was that? I feel like that was like I'm from Somerset.
Do you think so?
It was a few years ago now. It was a wee bit like... It was a few years ago now, and he came over for a cup of tea. There's still steam coming out of the top of it. I went up and at myself with the hose.
We've had Hagrid.
I went down the banister, up and down. I smeared a bit of Vaseline on the banister. And I went up and... I don't believe it. He came to my house for a cup of tea. He said to me, please, hey, are you the girl from Tinder? I met you on the dating app. You said to me, you are going for a first date. I said you will do today. You said, no, we go on a date next Tuesday. I said, I do not wait for Tuesday. Tuesday is almost a week away. That is like that is a portion on the calendar I do not wish to allocate. Precious, listen, if you want me, I'll come over today. You can have a couple liars or berries. I don't go in between. I don't want a gold blend. I don't want the caffeine. The caffeine, it ran through me like shit through a goose. I know you're looking at me strange. Like, Mark, you have had too much coffee. I have not had enough coffee. There is not enough coffee. Nevertheless, I need to go home. It's over. Oh, let's go.